From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open a cold May Day beer and let's get after it. I don't know what you were doing over there. It sounds like you were squeezing a muskrat into like a copy machine or something.
I was going naked. I was like, I forgot to grab a koozie. It's too late. But then I was like, within hand's reach, I've got the wonderful Kong koozie, which is a Kong. I'm not going to Kong it. I'm not going to Kong, but again, it works as a koozie as well. That's the glory of it, right?
Yeah. As always, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Join them every Thursday for bingo and Tuesdays for Singo, and keep track of all their dope events on Facebook. The wife and I and the in-laws, my sister-in-law and her husband, we went on Friday for St. Paddy's Day, and it was an absolute blast. Today we are covering a bunch of news from inside and out of the NHL. We got games of the week. We're talking March Madness. We have got a joke of the week that honestly, you'll just have to wait around. It is one of the funniest things I've heard in a while. How are you, bud?
Good, man. Getting excited for this New Orleans trip that we're finna be on.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, not too bad. I wish it would get start warming up. I hate the constant flux. Folks with allergies have been horrendous. So just ready. I've already checked the weather. Weather is looking prime and right for New Orleans, so I'm kind of jazzed about that. I think we got like a low of like 68 most days, and then like a high of like 82.
Ooh.
Yeah, brother, and it is supposed to rain at like noon on Sunday, the day we're leaving. So, bro, you know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Hey, we are.
Let's
you know what we are gonna have to do though, because we do have a late flight. We're going to have to hit up our spot, the Voodoo Lounge, my man, where we were legends there. Not so much Broski. Broski was not a legend there. We actually, people really had a distaste for him. We might have caused him existential harm. So, yeah, man, super jazzed about that. I don't have anything to get, uncursed this time, which is great. That's super good. It's always beneficial, but you got
don't speak too soon. We still have a couple days.
Goodness knows I don't need to have anything else decursed. But something you're excited about. What is something you've been thinking about when we get down there, bro?
Oh man, just Bourbon Street, man. Just hanging out with the boys on Bourbon Street is always a blast.
Dude,
I love going down there with my wife, but it's always a different experience when you go down there, like when you don't go down there with the boys. Like it's more of a like I'm just ready to cut loose and have some fun.
Absolutely.
Not always. Not fully worry about the wallet, but just cutting loose.
My boss and manager, on the team said, don't get arrested and be in the headlines or something. I'm like, look, even if I do get arrested, I got all my homies there, no stress on that. I'm not even, when they wake up in the morning, they're going to do a little scramble for me, and calling jails is going to be the first thing. At least one of them's going to be like, yeah, I saw him get arrested. So yeah, I said, but me getting arrested, it'll be like the 60th crazy thing that happened that night. Like it's the odds, I'm not too stressed about it, but I'll tell you, man, usually, me, Bourbon Street is great. Obviously I'm super excited about street pizza and daiquiris, but
let's go.
Some Acme Oyster House, bro. It's just been like sounding good to me, dude. I need to get some oysters for real. And obviously it's monsoon season, baby. So then we got to get a monsoon at Port of Call.
Yeah,
we're gonna do you know, I'm gonna hit my corner, you know, right there. That's I pretty much run that strip. But Sass wants to do
WMD.
Frenchman. Yeah, Sass wants to do Frenchman Street one night. So I mean,
Nothing
I'm
wrong with
also.
that.
He said he's never done it. I was like, hey, I'm cool with it. You know, I'm cool with it. But
Yeah.
my thing is, look, bro.
Go cafe and the grill.
Let's not
get some
play
good
around.
hot dogs.
Let's not play around, bro. We are tourists, and there's a like we're not cool. You know, you're a tourist. You want to go to Broadway, right? Yeah, you're a tourist. You want to go to Bourbon Street, and it's like that much more. So,
yeah.
I hope I wonder if they're gonna. Any of them are gonna do the alligator thing, the fan boat.
I knew I won't.
Yeah, not me. I was like, best case scenario in that situation is that I drive around the swamp for 3 hours and see alligators. That's best case scenario. Like, that's what you want from the trip. And that's not something that I want on a good day. The worst case scenario is somebody loses a limb. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to, I'm not me specifically, because I will be on Bourbon Street, but they will have to call us on Bourbon Street and tell us that somebody's going to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I will wish them.
Well, you know, with our luck, they're all going to go on this trip and they'll be fine. We'll be on Bourbon and somehow one of us will lose a limb on Bourbon.
One of us will lose a limb from an alligator, a pet alligator street. You know what? You know what I'm saying? It's risk reward though, Bobby, because
but worth it.
That's what I'm saying. The reward for being on Bourbon Street, if the risk is losing a limb, I still was on Bourbon Street. It's the risk I was willing to take. Again, the reward for not losing a limb on a fan boat tour is just being on a fan boat. Just generally, I'm sure it's fine, but I don't want to all that's rushing through my head is like, bro, I'm going to fall in and I'm going to lose a leg, and not, obviously losing a leg would be horrible, but it's just going to ruin the trip. So if we're going to do it Sunday morning is when I would be forced to get on the boat, Yeah.
Because then you can at least pre-board with a
that's what I'm saying. Like I'll get stitched up real quick with my nub and, it'll just have to be a whole new life. Like I'll be getting, I watched King of the Hill. And Bill, when he was told he needed to be in a wheelchair and he gets like super buff and is doing like sports, like wheelchair sport, I think I would get super into wheelchair sports. That's just what I would do with my loss of limb. So,
I mean, if you want to get into it, you could do that now. You could just, but
it's frowned upon.
Sitting down.
It's frowned. Yeah, but it's frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like Ricky Bobby. You know what I'm saying? I'm like jumping up out of the wheelchair and swatting them. So, I just don't. I think it's a little uncouth.
Yeah. The rules for this trip are very simple. Don't get arrested and don't add or subtract from the population. And then I think we're golden.
I mean, it's a solid set of rules. Don't get involved in a human trafficking scheme, either on the trafficker or the trafficked side. And I'm not saying we would purposely do it, but like we would meet some friends and like we would realize way too late that this is shady. This is, they took us to a weird spot on Bourbon Street and we're in too deep. We have to join the crew. We just got to be careful. But let's go to we will go to the dungeon, obviously.
Yeah, I do want to say that there is something, while you're not technically wrong, there is something funny about saying that somebody who is being trafficked is quote unquote involved with human trafficking. Because if you were to just be on like saying, oh yeah, that person's involved with human trafficking, that has a stigma with it.
Just like he dabbles dabbles in it. He's just
like
he's
no,
just
that person's a victim,
involved.
bro.
Oh no, I was talking about the trafficker. I was being, I was saying we would get tricked onto their side of things and we would like look around and we're like, oh my gosh, like, no, it's, I'm not, I'm not making light. You're trying to make me seem to be a crazy man. That's just no, I'm saying I'm very much against it.
I thought you were saying like, let's not get involved with human trafficking, like get kidnapped. Like that's not involved. No. That's getting kidnapped.
Let's I hope we don't dabble in it. No, I'm saying like we would like make friends. We would make friends and not realize that these were shady characters until down the road. Like they just say something.
Yeah.
Well, we'd had 13 beers up
until
to this
3 weeks
point.
later, we're getting our asses kicked by Liam Neeson. Yeah.
Right. And we're like, oh man, that was, you know what? That was on us. You know what? That guy, he did show me, he did show me many he showed me many tattoos. That was,
I should have known when I signed the contract to be a henchman that it wasn't a great thing, but
we thought it was a joke. We thought it was a joke, and he pulled out a LegalZoom contract, and now I'm indebted. I got indentured servitude to this. They just dabble in the human trafficking side of things. So they're mostly into the white collar crime. So that's usually where I spend a lot of my time. It's on the white collar crime side of things.
Yeah. Let's actually get to the actual podcast now.
Don't
forget to check us out on Patreon and Twitch. Quick fit check. I couldn't find my other NOLA hats. I'm rocking the Abita beer and just a dope Hawaiian that I was just in my closet, still from the dry cleaner. So I was like, let's put this on.
There you go. I went with the New Orleans Baby Cakes hat, St. Patrick's Day edition, and the got to get my G Baby Cucumbas going, so this is actually a preview fit for New Orleans. This one's always landed. So, gonna rock the G Baby, but let's see what we got. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Let's hop into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
Oh, man. Fanatics Inc.'s 10-year deal with the NHL for uniforms most likely won't see major design changes until the 26-27 seasons. Same factor used by Adidas for now. Quality still up in the air. I can tell you someone who does wear a lot of Fanatic stuff. The quality is not good. Customer service from Fanatics is bad. They make so many mistakes, like things like New York Islanders wording on New York Rangers colors and logos. It's just, I feel like between this, ESPN's handling of the of the rights, Gary Bettman's treatment of the league, I feel like the NHL in itself is going down a path where it's going to lose a lot of fans. And their main goal of expanding the sport is they're having the opposite now. Like, this doesn't feel like a league that is growing right now. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to go under, but it doesn't feel like, it did 5 years ago.
No, you hoped that viewership, by having ESPN on your side and the major media network that they have in place, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like it's just, I bought this out of spite, so you can't play with it type of deal. It's very frustrating. It's they're not gaining traction in some areas where Bettman is gone in Arizona, and he's unwilling to let it die as it should. Let's get a team somewhere that wants a team. Stop having this. You're $1 billion organization. You got teams playing playing for 5,000 fans. That's a problem. You have no clear succession point, and it's short-sighted. I'll tell you who loves the Fanatics deal, and Gary Bettman being the whipping boy, is the owners right now. But it just seems very short-sighted. At every turn, we're gonna cut a cost so we can make an extra buck now, at the expense of the long-term growth of the league. Something that I don't feel that the NBA's had a problem with. Something that I don't feel that the NFL's had a problem with. I mean, people make fun of we're not in the outside of the NHL segment, but I mean, Roger Goodell just inked and redid his deal. Has made over $500 million throughout his time as NFL commissioner. And people are like, wow, how does he keep his job? Because you blame him for everything and not the owners. And so that's all they care about. They're making money.
That's kind of his job.
He wants to do the draft from at home in his recliner, and you make fun of him and be booed. So they're not booed. So they don't have any reason to take any heat. he's doing a good job in their mind, because all it is viewership and numbers. That's all that the NFL cares about. So it just doesn't seem like the NHL has done a good job with that in my mind. So I agree with you. I think that the Fanatics deal is proof of that. I mean, Adidas was making quality jerseys in my mind. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Darnell Nurse, four career overtime goal sets record for Oilers defenseman. That seems like a low number, to be honest. I guess four overtime winners for a defenseman just seems like a really low number
for an organization overall. Yeah, I mean, and you think Tyson Barrie,
yeah,
you should have been that guy for a number of years, but a very big organization as well. So I was intrigued by that. I was like, oh, that's a fun little stat. I don't know if we're gonna talk about it or March Madness today, but I mean, Ekholm has been great for him. Has really allowed him to kind of do his thing. So that's definitely a trade that has worked out in a team's favor. A guy that comes in that has had some playoff experience, has kind of been in a locker room where they've gone to a cup and they've gone a little further in the playoffs. I think that's a solid assist for Darnell Nurse to be playing with Ekholm. So I think that's address some of the problems that Edmonton has had long term in the playoffs.
100%. Let's move to outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
Aaron Rodgers. We touched on this last week, but Aaron Rodgers officially to the Jets. I don't know if there's no details, I'm assuming, yet about the move. Aaron Rodgers decided to be a little bit petty and kind of a bitch to Adam Schefter when Adam Schefter reached out to him and pretty much told Adam Schefter, good try, lose my number. I think this is good for both teams. I think the Packers needed to get rid of Rodgers. I think that they were a little bit more under pressure to get rid of him than the Jets were under pressure to get him, not by much. I don't think that the Packers had much negotiating power at all. So I think whatever they get back is better than the nothing that they could have gotten for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's petty enough to probably retire. So that's that. I think I agree. It's a good move for both squads. We get to see what Jordan Love can do there for the Packers. Some decent weapons, but it'll be interesting to see the Packers where they're at, after this season. Jets, maybe a quarterback away. Rodgers, even a serviceable season from him changes kind of the outlook for the Jets in my mind. He doesn't have to be the Aaron Rodgers that won a Super Bowl 10 years ago, but he just needs to be not Zach Wilson or not, Matt White, who played decent. I'm not hating on Matt White, but he's not a future quarterback in this league, in my mind, personally. So, good move for them. But the next, quarterbacks all over the place. I think a good move for the Colts. Is it a possible second coming of Minshew Mania there at Indianapolis? I
think so. I think he meshes well with that team.
For them. Yeah, a good move for them in my mind. So quarterback shuffle, Jimmy Garoppolo there in Las Vegas now. We'll have a contest to see who can be the San Francisco quarterback, Brock Purdy or Trey Lance. A lot of interesting, prospects happening this year in the NFL who can kind of shuffle, a lot of parity in the NFL. So you never know what team is going to be next.
Yeah. Something else we didn't have on here was Ezekiel Elliott released by the Cowboys. which was honestly took me off guard, especially with I mean, Tony Pollard is not 100% healthy. I mean, I'm not, I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'm surprised or not about this. Like, I think everyone saw it coming, but I am still a little bit shocked.
I'm not. He had.
I thought they were going to try to get something for him.
No, he had a huge cap number. I mean, nobody's willing to, it's like one of those trade, or we know you're going to drop him, so we'll just sign him in a couple weeks for nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
Tony Pollard has a
somewhere
future
for sure.
Tony Pollard has a future as a top back in my mind. I really like what he puts on the table. But yeah, I mean, Zeke held out that 1 year and got the bag. I mean, Zeke, since he has come into the league, has made more money than anybody else that has in that equivalent time period. He's made almost $75 million, with the next closest being about $50 million. So at a running back position, Zeke did what he needed to do. People didn't like it, but he got the money that he was worth. And now Austin Eckler talking about he not getting paid enough money compared to what he does for the offense. Well, Austin, you were sitting around when when Melvin Gordon came to them and held out. Did you think, oh, they'll never do this to a 29-year-old me? Like, yes, they will. That's the point. That's why Zeke held out and said, I'm not playing football until you give me what I'm worth now, and so it was kind of a blueprint. Not many people can get away with that blueprint if you're not Ezekiel Elliott at the time. But I'm interested to see. He'll be a great piece, for years to come. If it's just floating from team to team. But I mean, it might be up to him how long he even wants to play and abuse his body for nothing. I think he'll probably go try to find him a ring somewhere, make a couple of, key decisions, couple year contract. I don't know what his plan is, but that would be mine, right?
Maybe go the Leonard Fournette route and just kind of
find a Super Bowl,
find a bench to sit on for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, find a Super Bowl. I mean, that's what I'm doing personally. So
yeah. All right, let's move into our main topic of the day. First 2 rounds of the NCAA men's tournament is wrapped up. We are in the Sweet 16. Right now, the matchups look as of now, we've got Alabama and San Diego State, Creighton and Princeton, FAU and Tennessee, Kansas State and Michigan State. Michigan State just fucking upsetting everyone. Gonzaga, UCLA, Arkansas, UConn, Xavier in Texas, and Houston and Miami. I think obviously to me the biggest surprises in that bunch are Miami and Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, I think Princeton probably a bit of a surprise there. That 15 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a 16 seed win. Purdue absolutely embarrassed by Fairleigh Dickinson. I watched that game. It was a master game plan. They had 2 people in Edey's face anytime he touched the basketball. What a great time of year. Somebody was like, oh, I'm about to put in some bracket. I think it was Sass. I'm about to put in some bracket. I just don't feel good about it. It's like, have you ever felt good about it? We all know that at the end of this tournament, the winner is going to be, oh, well, we just held up rings and had a dolphin jump through one of the ring, and they picked the perfect bracket. You know what I'm saying? Like, or a little kid.
Yeah,
my wife was colors.
Yeah, my wife was like, "Do you want?" She was like, "Do you? We got a free bracket for my work. Do you want to do it?" I was like, honestly, you have just as much chance of just guessing as I do looking at stats and trying to pick winners. Just do it. Just go with your gut and just fill it out.
If you looked at somebody's bracket and said Virginia, Purdue, and Arizona are going down week 1, you'd laugh at your wife. Like, what are you doing? That's a stupid bracket. I've learned to not say that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
I wouldn't say,
happen. Like, oh, that could absolutely happen. And as we've seen, it did. Bracket challenges are really up in the air, man. It's always funny because you want to go in this first couple rounds with a good play, good spot. And it's always good to see your name, the number 1, 2, or 3 spot. But really, just need enough Sweet 16 and Elite 8 teams and hope your championship teams don't go out so you can garner a lot of points. The top max level of our brackets right now, not super high. We still got a shot. Maybe we will be a little closer to winning some money when we're in New Orleans next week, man. Because it's been crazy. Tennessee, Sweet 16. So we got a Sweet 16 now. Who are you still liking? I mean, to me, Alabama is still looking great.
To me, I like UCLA or Gonzaga. I think the winner of the UCLA Gonzaga game is going to win it all, and I think Alabama. I think Alabama, their road to the championship has gotten much easier, and I think I like them in the Final Four against Tennessee. Maybe I don't know if Michigan State has what it needs to beat Kansas State and then
coaching,
Tennessee
baby.
or FAU.
Coaching, completely a factor here. I mean, I think there's only about 3 brackets. A lot of the teams have the same bracket, winners and stuff. A lot of Kansas out there. So, those are obviously no issue. Only 3 brackets out there, one of which being yours, one of which being mine, have UCLA winning it. I really still like that pick. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was looking very not solid early on, but the further we go on, I like the teams I have going deeper in that bracket. So it doesn't look good on the surface initially, and it's not my top bracket with the max score available to me, but something I'm super comfortable with going into the Sweet 16. I got enough teams in the Sweet 16 to garner some points. I do not have anybody. I had Duke and Arizona going to the Final Four, so I'm not going to get anybody there. But I did have UCLA, UConn. I have UCLA, UConn going on, and I've pretty much called everybody else on those other side. I have Xavier and UCLA in their Final Four there, with UCLA winning it all over a non-existent Arizona. So, man.
My bracket with the most, I guess, upside. One side of the Final Four is done. I had Arizona, Marquette, and then the other side I have Houston, UCLA. So that's still in play.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I should hopefully get some good points from that.
Gonzaga, Alabama
in that bracket.
Saban in shambles has gone. Alabama winning over Gonzaga, and then Houston. We have a bracket that is. I still got my entire Final Four: Alabama, Kansas State, Houston, and UCLA. Where Houston beats Alabama in the championship. So I really like that one long term as well. I don't have Baylor. I don't have Purdue. But I do. Don't have Kansas, but I have a lot of other picks. I had Miami losing as well, but gives me, got some teams win. $310 might be coming our way, brother.
Nice. All right, let's move on to our games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All righty, I had a little bit of a better week, pulling back to within one game. Certainly, I'm currently sitting at 57.44. Bond is sitting at 58.41-4. I am now sitting at $103.48, and he is sitting at $109.39.
Super close.
A good week from me after a full line of puck lines, which helped a lot on the money. But yeah, why don't you start us off with your first game of the week this week?
Yeah, well, first off, I do want to say real quick that depending on what happens this week, that I might put the week under protest because you totally switched up your game and how you were picking the team and how naming the teams. We got Toronto at Florida. We traditionally do mascots here. I mean, you don't have to change it now, but I just want you to know that if I have a bad week and you have a really good week, I'm going to put an asterisk on this week. You even have Chicago at men, but 2 N's, not even how they would abbreviate it normally. So I'm just totally confused and thrown off. And so if I pick bad this week, this is on you. And
it looks like I'm going through this season's games. For the most part, I use cities because I just copy what's on ESPN's schedule.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I occasionally will do mascots, but like,
well, then I'm putting it under protest that you do it. You do it a little differently every time, and that's not regulation. So, but okay. I will start us off.
Noted.
Just for the record, if it's not noted, then I'm not going to be able to bring this back up and appeal. In our own court of us, I want it to be noted when I bring it up again. We need to get ourselves a possession arrow. So who decides the argument? Who wins it? I have the Lightning playing the Sens. I am gonna go with the Sens actually here, playing at home. The Lightning have been on and off a little bit when it comes to away games there. So I'm gonna go with the Senators, but I'm just straight up no puck line.
Yeah. And I think maybe after the news that came out, they are feeling a little invigorated with Ryan Reynolds, I think, moving closer to possibly becoming the owner of the Senators.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, he's apparently done a pretty good job with the soccer team. So, Ryan Reynolds is a Renaissance man. I can't wait till 60 years when all the people are complaining about the old rich billionaire owner, Ryan Reynolds, but we remember him from Waiting and stuff, in Deadpool. we're like, you shut your mouth.
Yeah.
He's allowed to, he'll probably come out like he'll have being, racist against Dungeons and Dragons players.
Dabbled in human trafficking.
He's just he was involved a bit in human trafficking. And we'll have to defend him because we used to love him back in the day. You kids don't know nothing about dabbling in human trafficking, okay? Everybody got into it a little bit. I remember a trip to New Orleans I took,
all right, my first game of the week, I've got Toronto at Florida. I'm gonna take Toronto here. And I'm feeling a little frisky. I'm going to see if I can get Toronto minus 1.5.
This is your guarantee? This is your 1.5 guarantee?
Did not guarantee it.
Okay. Well, no, not guarantee.
Yeah. I thought you said
you want to guarantee
the
1.5.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If not, I'll take just money line. Minus. All right. What do you got for the second game of the week? Because you got a matinee game. Or no, never mind. I was looking at your number 3.
Yeah, that's my next
I'll
game.
do my second game. I got the I got the New York Islanders going into Columbus. Originally, I was going full on Islanders, but I just feel like at home, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with the Islanders money line.
Okay, I don't hate that.
Columbus is just not very good.
I don't think it's going to be a very beneficial money decision, but I don't think you're going to lose any money here. I think it's going to be a close game there.
Yeah.
I had the other game. There was 3 games that day for Friday, but I had the other 2 teams playing already. So I chose the Yotes playing the Avs at 8 p.m. I'm going to go with the Avs here. I'm going to go puck line. I'm not going to guarantee it. I will take the plus 1.5 if that's what they end up getting. But I'm guessing they're probably going to be favored. That's just a premonition I'm having. So,
yeah. Up next, I've got Chicago at.
Sorry, I think it's still me. I got the matinee. Kraken at the Predators. 3:25 at 1 p.m. Kraken have been playing very well. They've played well against us in our house. I'm going to go with the Kraken puck line. I'm hoping, I'm actually going to hopefully guarantee the -1.5. So just in case the Preds are favored for whatever reason, being a home game in the morning, I'm going to hopefully guarantee that -1.5 there.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I think the Kraken are, I mean, I would take like -2.5 maybe. Outline. Up next, I got Chicago going into Minneapolis at 4 p.m. on the 25th. I'm going to take Minneapolis. I'm going to take puck line. I think they are going to walk all over the Chicago team. And then I'm next up on the 26th at 4 p.m. Another 4 p.m. puck drop. Boston at Carolina. I think two heavyweights going at it. I don't know. I think Boston. I mean, I think I'm going to just take the home team here. I think I'm going to take Carolina.
Straight up money line, huh? I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I think I like that pick, actually. I have the Blues at the Kings on the 26th at 9:30 p.m. Kings puck line is where I'm going here. I was jealous of your pick last week where you got the Kings puck line. Absolutely dominated the Flames last night. So I'm going to go with the Kings puck line over the Blues.
Nice. For my last game of the week, I've got an Eastern Conference showdown down at the bottom of the table. I've got Montreal going into Buffalo, and I'm going to take Buffalo puck line.
Yeah, I think that's a smart call to finish off the week for us. I have the Devils playing the Islanders, 3:27 at 6:30 p.m. You have the Isles winning earlier in the week. I have the Devils winning. I'm going to go with puck line, and if the Islanders are favored, I'm just going to accept it. So
nice. All right. That wraps up our games of the week. We'll return to that next week. Let's head over to Joke of the Week.
The Weird.
Corey Perry.
See, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb. It's time for the Joke of the Week.
All right. This one comes to us. I'm not really sure from where, but it's a local news station somewhere. And it was St. Paddy's Day. And I'm going to play it for us. I'm going to put it in post so you guys will hear it as well. But Brandon, I think you got it on your end as well.
And 57. And to another woman who likes to be double-fisted in a different way, I think, Jess.
She means beer. She means beer. Guys, she means beer. Don't put me on YouTube. My God.
Well, I mean, I plan on following her lead at New Orleans, Bob. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Gonna be doing some double fit. I mean, you want to get basically she is talking about probably, drinking or something or the other. And she's like, I'm going to get double fisted, which eruption of laughter from the crew and cast, and the other anchor is like, no, she's talking about drink. She's talking about drink, but the damage has been done. It's on the internet. She said, do not put me on YouTube. So as soon as she said that, she was on YouTube 35 times. She should have said nothing. That is usually the better response, is just to not Barbara Streisand affect it. And, the more you try to get something to not be on the internet, we are cretins. We are gluttons for other people's embarrassment. And, even if you feel bad, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she had that snafu. You still watch the video. You still clicked on the link and you watched it and you laughed at it. And we're sitting here and we're laughing about it. So, there we go. I mean, what a joke. What a, there
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it was an impromptu thing. I think it was ad libs. I think she just said that, and I think it wasn't on the teleprompter. I think, but then that's why she said it like that. I think she just wanted to make a little St. Patty's Day drinking joke, but she mixed up her words instead of saying, "Well, let's take it to someone who likes to double fist" or something like that. Said
your colleague gonna get double fisted. She might get called into HR. For being real, I mean, I you know, if any good lawyer worth their salt, you know, is going to be able to see that. So,
tell you what, this brings up a new excuse that people can use when they get called. It's like, no, I meant that she likes, you know, drinking 2 beers at once. When I said that Linda in accounting likes to get double fisted.
Yeah, I obviously. I don't think that she likes to get double fisted like that. Oh my God! Like, is that what you meant? Look, all I'm saying is Linda has a drinking problem. That was it. I wasn't trying to sexually assault Linda. I'm just saying she drinks at lunch. All right. It's not a big deal. Like, come on, Greg. She threw up on you at the company picnic last week. She may have a problem. That's all I was saying. Her sexual preference, that's fine. It's 2023. I don't want to be that woman. Linda's allowed to do what she wants off the clock, but on the clock she drinks. I want to be clear on that.
Let's move. We got I came up with a question from the internet to throw in here. With Vegas now a sports haven with an NFL team and an NHL team, and soon possibly NBA and MLB, what is America's quote unquote Wild West city now that needs a pro sports team that doesn't have one?
Yeah, I mean, when I think of Wild West cities, there's not many that were Wild West cities that don't already have pro sports teams and also would be able to support it. San Francisco.
When I'm saying Wild West city, I'm not talking about like cities. I'm using that as I'm not saying cities that were like cowboys. I'm talking about Wild West cities that are untamed by pro sports. It could be anywhere. Any city in America.
Out west?
No, not out west, anywhere. I was using, take out the word Wild West. I was using that as a metaphor for untamed, that a pro sport, that it's been untouched by pro sports.
Nowhere. I don't know, man. I really, I'm sure that their answer, there is an answer.
Austin, Texas, maybe?
Yeah,
they have the Longhorns. That's about it.
Yeah, Austin could be, a potential option. I don't know if they would support it. Don't they have a lot of close baseball team? Maybe they don't. Maybe I'm thinking about this.
Hartford, Connecticut is a huge sports city that had lost a hockey team. I think that they should get a sports team up in Hartford. For too long, I think the Patriots has been kind of holding down the New England area for their own. I think that there are plenty of other places up in the Northeast that could support a pro sports team.
Yeah, Hartford could be one for sure.
Maybe Lexington, Kentucky, somewhere like that could use a pro sports team maybe.
Yeah, but nobody wants to go
Louisville?
Play football or basketball or baseball in Kentucky. Dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that would be my only thought there. There's plenty. Yeah, you had some good names. I do not know that Omaha. Again, it goes back to Oklahoma City is already something that people, it's okay. All right, Oklahoma City's an okay place, but nobody's clamoring to get there, and that's kind of the problem, right?
Omaha only likes it when they can watch little kids do stuff.
They dabble. They do dabble. They do dabble in the trafficking. It's a good question, but it's really a hard question because I would have to see like some some almost like you got to pitch to me, make the pitch meeting to me. And Vegas was really kind of the one last great. I'll use great loosely. One of the big American cities that has a lot of fame that kind of never had that pro sports team. And so is there a big clamoring from other areas, especially, depending on what sport? Phoenix is not supporting hockey, but it's got basketball. I think basketball needs to come back to Seattle. If that's something that so that would be my answer is the Supersonics need to come back to Seattle. I think that they could probably even share, work out a deal and maybe share an arena, the hockey arena. I would love to see the Seattle Supersonics back. So that'll be my answer. I like the Hartford, Connecticut. I think Quebec City could most certainly use a hockey team, and then obviously my third option there, Seattle.
Yeah, I think obviously, we're not just limited to states. I think you've got, well, I was gonna say Raleigh, but they've got the Hurricanes. I was trying to think if there's anywhere like in North Carolina that really needs a team. But no, I can't really think of one. And Virginia's got the Commanders pretty much. They they play in Landover, which is might as well be playing there.
Maryland has Baltimore.
Do you think Alabama could support a professional team? Or they're just so stuck up, college that they're not gonna.
Yeah, I just don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah, Little Rock,
maybe Birmingham. I'm not. I don't want to say no for sure. We'll see. I mean, they've done a pretty good job so far supporting the XFL. The USFL. So maybe, but it would. I just don't. Again, I don't see a lot of players wanting to go play sports there, and so that's a big selling point. Is it got to be a good city that you can bring guys in and the allure of the city. And not just, okay, well, I got to go to Birmingham for, a while my contract, because I was drafted there, but I'm not going to go sign a free agent deal at Birmingham, Alabama. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying that I'm not, but that's just my initial thought process. Same with kind of like Mississippi, somewhere in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. I think you could maybe get away with it somewhere like Biloxi, maybe, where it's pretty close to, but I mean, then you're super close to New Orleans. So it kind of depends on what sport you put down there.
Yeah.
And again, who's going to support helping build the stadiums? As much as we would wish that a billionaire is going to come in and pay for the whole thing, billionaires are not billionaires for that very reason, is that they trick us into paying for all of their stuff. And so, it's not that they wouldn't, it's not that the people of Alabama and Mississippi wouldn't be clamoring to be tricked into doing it, but is the money there? Is it going to be? More likely, no. It's usually probably the answer.
Yeah.
But great question, man.
Yeah. Let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right, the QMJHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, has plans to ban fighting. A quote from the commissioner, or I think they called him the chairman or something. All involved players will be expelled from the all involved players will be expelled from the ongoing game and be suspended for the next. It is all, but pretty much signed. It's a done deal. I think that's bad. That's bad for the sport. It's bad for the NHL. They, a lot of prospects go through that junior league. And I get it. There's a lot of different opinions on fighting in hockey. And having those opinions are perfectly fine. I think that when a junior league bans a portion of the game that is, whether people like it or not, part of the game that is played in the professional league, it's bad. It would be the same as if they just straight up got rid of, say, a penalty, a shootout, the penalty shot. If they got rid of all that because fans don't like it, like it's these junior players need to experience it, whether they want. I think
fighting
is already an optional thing. You don't have to fight.
Yeah, I think I agreed with a lot of your points up until you said it's equivalent to banning something that is an actual part of the game. Like you just said at the end of it, fighting is not a part of the game, and therefore knowing and learning how to do it in our league isn't necessary. You know, so I mean,
maybe not
I agree
officially,
that
but let's be honest here.
Go ahead.
I mean, coaches recruit. We can't sit here and say that coaches and recruiters don't give some weight to fighting skill of players. Whether it's they're getting a goon, it might not be as prevalent as it is 20 years ago. But if you've got two equal defensemen on all stats, but one guy is a better fighter, there's a good chance that they will go with that guy. So while yes, it is not a required part of the game, just like it's not required to toe the company line and not be eccentric and outspoken, it's kind of important to the sport, unfortunately, that you don't be too outspoken about things off the ice because the teams don't want it.
Let me pose it this way: the junior time frame, there's a age limit in the NFL, essentially, or time frame out of and in college sports for the NFL. Fighting is something that I'm sure that a lot of younger players want to do. They want to get out there and mix it up, and they want to fight, and they're a little more hot-headed. What if, and I'm not this exact example, but the next great prospect gets a huge concussion and has concussion problems because of fighting alone? Obviously, the risk is always there playing hockey that concussions are going to be there. I don't know. I feel like I hear what you're saying, where it kind of diminishes the sport, but I believe that guys' brains that are still growing, maybe it doesn't diminish the sport as much as it protects the sport a little bit. I mean, gives it more of a longevity and a more of puts it on that next level. You want to teach a guy to fight? Great. But you can do that after. I mean, let's be honest, Bobby. When Zdeno Chara hit a guy, whether you ever saw him fight before or not, what would your thought process be on this guy's fighting ability? You think that and that's not 100%, but let's be real. Those dudes that are big fighters, you can judge their fighting ability on how they make hits a lot of times, right? I mean, Tanner Jeannot can lay some dudes out because, he's got that fighter, that scrapper's mentality. So I hear what you're saying. And so I just think that there's a little bit more of a gray area.
I think a lot of it comes down to wording. If I understand these are young guys, I get it. And I understand the reasoning and the health aspect, but it kind of just irks me since this is a professional league and they're getting a paycheck. But also to call it a ban. I would have no problem at all if they said, hey, these are younger guys. We are increasing the penalty. We're not banning fighting, but instead of a 5-minute major, they get a game misconduct, but the sitting out the whole next game is kind of what bugs me.
Well, that's a ban. That's what
I think
it is.
there is
you have to make it an actual ban.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like a ban would be, performance enhancing drugs are banned. High sticking someone is a penalty. It's not banned. It's a penalty. And I think that there are, and I think a lot of it could just be that there's
fighting
getting some confusion about the word banning. Like,
well, fighting already was a penalty.
Yes.
I mean,
so,
if you're putting
increase the penalty. I have no problem with them increasing the penalty up for it.
Well, I mean, they are. They're doing the full game and a full another 60 minutes. So, I mean, I feel like they are, they're just, if somebody fights, I mean, what are you going to do? Kick them out of the league forever? No, you got a stepping stool process to, okay, well, then you're out this game and you're out the whole next game. So it's not banned.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do it.
Yeah. So I guess
if you want.
So I guess what's snapping my stick is in essence them claiming that they're banning it, because what this is doing is bringing heat on the league and the sport when they're using vitriol words like we're banning fighting. If the headline was that the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League is increasing the penalty for fighting, I don't think anyone including me would sit here.
That's not accurate, though. They're banning it for all intensive purposes.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think banning. I think when I gambling on a sport that you're playing is banning. Like that is that to me, banning means that the commissioner can pretty much say you're out until I think you should come back.
Well,
Josh Gordon was banned from the NFL.
Your point to that was there was a process to banning Josh Gordon from the NFL. Banning something. I mean, if you get caught doing PEDs, well, you don't just get to get kicked out of the league, but you just said they were banned. There's a process and there's a number of days or games or whatever. I mean, so suspending somebody for doing something is banning it. We have a zero tolerance policy for fighting. You get into a fight at school. Well, fighting's banned, Bobby, but you're not going to never come back to school again because we have a zero tolerance policy and we suspend you from school. That's my thought process, is that it is banned. It's just, to what degree is it banned? How long do you get banned for doing it? So I hear you. I think that it should stay as well. So I don't want my argument with you to get lost. I think there is just a little more of a line that they're towing. Mine, Memphis absolutely blew it. Memphis blew it against FAU. I caught them late where they were down 2. It was like a minute left or maybe 2 or 3 minutes left. And I got him like at a good plus 175, slid in there, one of those ever altering lines, threw $5 on it, bro. About to win 13, 14, but nothing great, but it would have been a good end to that night one. They have the ball. They used their last timeout, which I never understood why they did that. Okay, you want to set up the perfect inbound play. They dribble it out. They're almost past half court. And instead of taking a foul, a guy tries to make a crazy pass and gets it stolen. Gets it. Oh my gosh. It was the lowest basketball IQ move I saw played out all day. And I watched so much basketball over both of the course of those days. Just a bad. So, just obviously I lost a little money. But it was just a blown play. So you're snapping my stick, Memphis.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't have you really going far. So, you're a joke. You're an absolute joke. You should have been the joke of the week.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll be back next week. No promises since we'll be in New Orleans. But until then, see ya and have a great fucking week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.